Okay, let's be real. When you hear the name Al Pacino, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's gotta be some intense, explosive character, right? Tony Montana, Michael Corleone. But the actual man behind those iconic roles, well, he's far more complex, surprising, and frankly, way more chaotic than you could ever imagine. So let's dive in and try to separate the man from the myth.
I mean, on one side, you have the myth, right? Tony Montana, the coke-fueled gangster screaming, "Say hello to my little friend." But then there's the reality. Pacino himself, in his memoir, says he's never even tried cocaine. And that one little fact just cracks the door open on this huge divide between the actor and the larger-than-life characters he's so famous for playing.
And what a career. It's basically a masterclass in unforgettable performances. I mean, from the chillingly quiet Michael Corleone to the absolute frantic energy of Sonny Wortzik screaming, "Attica, Attica!" Pacino has created characters that are just etched into the history of American movies. And his talent? It's recognized across the board. He is one of a very small group of actors to achieve the triple crown of acting. That's an Oscar, an Emmy, and a Tony. This isn't just about being a movie star, it's a testament to his sheer dedication to the craft. But what's the secret? What's the method behind it all? So, yeah, what is the secret? How does he manage to create these incredibly compelling characters time and time again? Well, the answer really lies in the place where he first started, the theater. Pacino has this really powerful metaphor for his craft. He says that acting in a film is kind of like walking on a wire that's just painted on the floor. It's safe. But the stage? Now that's a high wire act. You're 100 feet up, and there is no safety net. It's that thrill, that sense of genuine danger that has really defined his whole approach to acting. See, he's a student of method acting. And this isn't just about pretending. It's about finding a character's inner truth and then building the performance from the inside out. He feels like he has to understand why a character does what he does in order to create what he calls truthful behavior. And this really highlights a central conflict for him in his career. The stage gives him that chance to fully live in a character's skin, to walk that high wire every single night. Film, though, he calls it a fragmented existence. You might only shoot, a minute of the actual story in a whole day. It's a completely different beast. And that's exactly why rehearsal is so critical for him. Pacino really thrives on building what he calls the world of the play with his fellow actors. The fast-paced, sometimes rushed nature of modern filmmaking often skips over this crucial step, and he finds that really challenging. He even describes it as every man for himself. But it's not always about those big, explosive moments. Just think about that iconic coffee shop scene in Heat with Robert De Niro. There's no shouting, no gunfire, but the tension is just palpable. It's built entirely on these subtle actions and quiet, loaded dialogue. It is a masterclass in truthful acting. But as intense as his acting process is, it honestly has nothing on his real life. His memoir, Sonny Boy, reveals a life that has often been way more dramatic than any script he's ever read. For instance, how about this? Here's a story that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a movie script. Was he actually seriously kidnapped by a fan back in the 1970s? The answer is yes. The story is absolutely true. A woman offered him a ride and then just calmly told him, "I'm kidnapping you." Pacino, drawing on his South Bronx instincts, knew exactly what to do. He just opened the car door and threatened to jump out, and she immediately backed down and took him home. It's that same raw survival instinct you see in his characters, something he honed long before Hollywood. His life has been a roller coaster in other ways too, especially with money. By the mid-2000s, he had built up a fortune of $50 million, and then he lost all of it. So how do you possibly lose that much money? Well, you could start with owning 16 cars, or maybe maintaining 23 separate mobile phones. And get this, paying a landscaper $400,000 for a house he didn't even live in. For one family vacation, he just went ahead and rented an entire floor of a luxury hotel in London. He just flat out admits, "I didn't understand how money worked." And here's the kicker. This was actually the second time he went broke. The first time, it was his then-girlfriend Diane Keaton who had to march into his lawyer's office and just set everyone straight. She yelled, "He is an idiot.
You've got to take care of him. She even found him the script for Sea of Love to get his career back on track.
And his career path could have looked so different. He was actually offered the role of Han Solo in Star Wars. But after he read the script, he famously said, "I can't make anything out of this." It's just one of those fascinating what-ifs in movie history, isn't it? But of all the stories in his memoir, maybe the most profound one comes from this terrifying personal experience that forced him to confront the biggest question of all. During the COVID pandemic, he collapsed. Paramedics got there and they found he had no pulse. After they managed to revive him, he was left with this incredibly stark conclusion. He writes, "I believe I experienced death that day. I returned, and I can tell you, there was nothing out there. It's over. You're here, then you're not." Now, you think a near-death experience might cause some people to slow down a bit. But for Al Pacino, who's now in his 80s, well, the final act seems to be unending. As of right now, he has a mind-boggling 10 film projects in the pipeline for 2026 and beyond. From pre-production to filming, his schedule is just completely packed. The man's work ethic is just relentless.
So that leaves us with one last question. For an artist who has spent more than 6 decades walking that high wire without a net, who directed a whole film called Looking for Richard just to understand a single character, what is he still looking for? Maybe, just maybe, for a true performer like him, the thrill isn't in finding the answer, but in never leaving the